Hello, and today I thought it would be a good idea to take a look at the Disney Afternoon Adventures volumes 1 through 4, since volume 4 recently released at the time of recording this video. For anyone who's a big fan of the Disney Afternoon, these 4 volumes are an excellent place to start, or to, as well as also to find stories that you may or may not have come across in the past. They're released by Fantagraphics in really nice hardcover volumes that clearly have a lot of love and care put into them. And for full disclosure, this is not a sponsored review. I'm doing this just because I love the Disney Afternoon a lot. Fantagraphics did an excellent job, and that people should really go and take a look and pick these up. Each volume consists of comics based on the various Disney Afternoon TV shows. Some stories are reprints of what you would have found in newspapers, while other stories are reprints of comics from the time period. One thing that's odd, though, is that the cover for each volume consists of already existing art. Especially what's weird is for 2 of the volumes consist of art from the Boom Studios run, which happened in the 2010s, are reprints of comics from the 80s and 90s. It would have been nice if they could have had new artwork done. I'm not sure why that is. I can only guess budgetary constraints, since Volume 3 was announced before Volume 2 came out, and Volume 4 was announced before Volume 3 came out, and we already know that there's going to be a Volume 5. So I have to imagine these are selling well. So hopefully when they do additional print runs, we might get some new cover art. But one thing that's very cool is that on the copyright information page, it tells you exactly where each story originated from, and also include stories that, for some of them, had never been reprinted in English. Now I'm going to give a brief rundown of what you can find in each of these volumes, starting with the Darkwing Duck, Just Us Justice Ducks, and Other Stories. First up, we have an adaptation of Just Us Justice Ducks from Darkwing Duck. Then we have from Adventures of the Gummy Bears, The Legend of Tommy the Werebear. Then we have an adaptation of a Goofy movie. And then for DuckTales, a Beagle Bad Time story. From Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, New Kid on the Dock. And then we have all 5 parts of the massive The Legend of the Chaos God crossover storyline, which cross over Tailspin, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, Goof Troop, DuckTales, and Darkwing Duck. There's also the legend behind The Legend of the Chaos Gods, which goes on how that storyline got made in the first place. From Bonkers, we have Raging Bull. And finally, from DuckTales, Mrs. Beakley's Secret Love. Each page, you can tell that the paper is of quality. And each panel, the art is so vibrant and eye-catching. You can tell that they did an excellent job when they were putting this collection together. And for a number of these stories that had to be restored, they look better than they have ever looked. And for Volume 2, titled Tailspin, Flight of the Skyraker, and Other Stories, you get Flight of the Skyraker for Tailspin, Your Bridges Are Hanging Down from Adventures on the Gummy Bears, Dime After Dime, DuckTales, Good Dog Card, Goof Troop, For the Love of Cheese, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, Isle of Kablooey, The Lion King's Timon and Pumbaa, Shake, DuckTales, It's a Plentiful Life, Tailspin, Salad Days, Darkwing Duck, Duke Igthorn's Bridge, Adventures of the Gummy Bears, The Long Flight Home, Tailspin, Vogue's Gallery, Darkwing Duck, and Catch of the Day from Tailspin. One of the things that really stands out about these collections is the good balance between longer form stories and shorter form stories, as well as also a good balance between the comics based on the more popular shows, as well as also comics based on the not as popular shows. There's enough content that'll probably take you a couple hours to read through from cover to cover. It feels like a premium product, but you're also not being charged premium product prices. So that's also another good reason to pick these up as well. Well, now it's time to move on to Volume 3, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, The Count Roquefort Case, and Other Stories, which include The Count Roquefort Case from Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, Lucky Day for Adventures of Gummy Bears, Honey, I Shrunk the Ducks for DuckTales, The Show Yucks Go On from Goof Troop, Contractual Desperation from Tailspin, Mouths Wide Shut from Bonkers, Neither Fish Nor Fowl, DuckTales, The Tale of Fluffy, The Kitty Cat Caper, Darkwing Duck, Cakewalk from Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, The Curse of Fabergé, DuckTales, and Cat in a Hot Tin Suit from Darkwing Duck. One of the major pluses about picking up these collections is that they include a lot of stories that, for the longest time, had never been released in North America. That you could only find them in Europe, and a lot of them were also not in English too. So being able to read comics in English, restored, as well as also being printed on a much higher quality paper and in a nice, solid hardcover collection book, definitely makes this a major plus. An aspect that's in all these collection books that I think is fairly admirable is how they were drawn and colored in the original comics when they originally were printed back in the 80s and 90s. Even if the original comic drew the characters differently than how they were depicted in their shows, as well as also sometimes they were colored different as well, but deciding to stick to how they appeared in the comic and not to redraw or recolor large chunks of the comic or redoing the whole thing. I think it's admirable. And now time for the fourth volume. As of right now, is the final volume. There will be a fifth volume coming in December, but this one is called Adventures of the Gummy Bears, A New Beginning and Other Stories, which contains Adventures of Gummy Bears, A New Beginning, A Hard Day's Night for Goof Troop, Fluffy's Reign of Terror, Darkwing Duck, Pressing Business for Bonkers, Legend of the Silverhorn for Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, Thou Shalt Not Steal, especially Zummy from Adventures of Gummy Bears, Idiots Abroad, Tailspin, Can I Keep Him, Adventures of Gummy Bears, The Toaster from Darkwing Duck, The Arcadian Urn from DuckTales, One Day at the Park for Goof Troop, Not Our Kind of Folks for Tailspin, Hero for a Day for Darkwing Duck, and Bush Prattle Berry Battle from Adventures of the Gummy Bears. What sets this volume apart is this is the first volume to contain a content warning, which the other three volumes did not have. Though I expect in the future we might be seeing more volumes might have the content warning.
All in all, I would say that all 4 volumes are all must-haves for anyone who's a Disney Afternoon fan or anyone who's a classic Disney Comics fan. They're all premium products at an affordable price. Fantagraphics did an amazing job, and December can't come quick enough for Volume 5. And I hope that Fantagraphics continues to put out these volumes. A lot of these comics in the original form are either very hard to find due to being rare or expensive, or just were never printed in English originally. So this is the best way to own a lot of these stories. If you're a die-hard Disney Afternoon fan or just getting started, these 4 volumes are an excellent place to start. Till next time, see ya.